What's up, YouTube? This is Abe Harsh, and I'm going to bring you an update video on my 2007 BMW Z4M Coupe with hail damage. Stay tuned. Alright, so there have been a lot of updates and changes to this car since I bought it about a month ago. And I'll try to let you guys know about all those things that are going on. It's a lot of stuff. So obviously the car kind of looks like a mess because it's a little bit of a work in progress right now. But let's talk about what I've done. And yeah, my garage is a crazy mess because all the parts are here and it's not a very big garage. So you can see I've got the front bumper off. And I was replacing the nozzle sprayer right here. So this is a brand new one I just got from E86 Tuning. And this is a cap that I need to paint silver to color match so that it will match like this one right here. And then I also had a couple tabs on the bumper. Here, I'll come over here. There was like one or two broken tabs like that. And what I did is I used some what is it called? Cement. It's like a really crazy strong epoxy with some plastic washers, and just perfectly placed them over the holes so that there won't be any problems with the connecting to the fender liner and things like that. I also, you can see an AFE power box here. I did get an AFE intake. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the hood. I started making a video installing this intake and I tried to do it in 20 minutes and I was successful getting it installed and usable in 20 minutes, but the video was pretty crappy. I wasn't really reading the directions for the majority of it and I probably won't ever post the video. But anyway, there's like, it's installed and it's sturdy, but there's a couple of little things that will probably just take me another 10 minutes to button it up. I can drive it no problem right now, but there's like a bolt that just needs to get screwed down right there and one right here, and so this top cover is a little bit floppy, but I'm not driving right now. So I drove it one time with it like that and it was no big deal. It's totally fine. But it sounds so much better. Oh my god. And yes, the engine bay is filthy dirty. It was sitting on a Copart lot for probably a year, so I'll have that cleaned eventually as things progress. So let's go back here for the next thing to talk about. So I had bought a vanity plate. God, my dog is going crazy here. I bought a vanity plate just so that it didn't look super shady driving around with before this car just had nothing on the back. There wasn't even a license plate holder. So I threw a vanity plate on there, but let's see if we can see through here. Yeah, you can see there's some plates in there. I did end up getting the plates for the car. I got it all registered, which was a little bit of a nightmare because of the way that the broker did the paperwork. I won't get into that. It's a long story, and it wasn't a big deal. We got it fixed. Okay, next. Let's see. I had the windshield replaced like day one, and the gasket, or whatever you call it, the rubber gasket that goes between the car and the windshield that they used was the non-OEM one. They just like built it from scratch, and it did not look good. So I did order the factory one. So I started trying to put this in myself, and I don't know, I've never done it. It was not staying, and I might need to call the guys to come back over and put this one back in for me. Also, I've got some carbon fiber fabric here. I think I mentioned in a previous video that I was planning on looking into doing a carbon fiber wrap, basically, with real carbon fiber over the roof. And here's something interesting to talk about. So this roof that's on the car right now is the extremely hail damaged roof. So let me peel this up. Look at all of those dents. They're not really deep, but they're all over the place. When I put the carbon fiber fabric over that, you cannot see any dents at all, zero. Now, what I'm thinking is that there's a good chance that once you use the epoxy and make it harden in a real panel, that maybe the dents will show through the fabric. I'm not totally sure, but it would be an interesting experiment to see if carbon fiber fabric is a cheap and easy way to cover hail dents. I do have another roof over here. I picked this up from a Z-Post forum member. I just need to clean it up, and I'm going to use this as the first guinea pig for carbon fiber. Additionally, I have some more panels here that I picked up from ECS. I spent a lot of money on ECS. This is a new belly pan right here. These are like 300 bucks, really annoying. I have some brand new fender liners in here as well, and I think an air duct. So a lot of brand new parts are gonna be on here. Oh, another thing. So I've got brand new windshield wipers, no big deal, but a bigger deal is the cowl. I think I call it a windshield cowl. Basically this black part, sorry the lighting's not too good right here. The black part that seats, I'm just gonna, there we go, that's better. This part right here, this was all old and cracked and really crappy looking. And there's ways that you can just use some rubber lining stuff to kind of fix it. So here's my old one over here on the wall. See how bad that looks? It was all just brittle and breaking. I can just break that off. That just broke, just touching it. So there's ways that you take like a razor and you trim all the brittleness away, and then you take like a rubber like gasket type material and you just lay it over that, and apparently it will give you pretty good results. But I just wanted a brand new one. This is a really nice car. I think it deserves it. So I also ordered some other much more fun stuff. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Rewind. We're talking about the roof. I want to go back to the roof. So you can see I have the headliner out right now, down inside the car. That's the bare roof right there. There are 4 bolts that hold the roof down, and then a bunch of sealant. So there's one of the bolts, and there's one in every corner. Getting the bolts out and getting the headliner out is really easy. It's like a 2-minute job. But getting the sealant out is a whole nother problem. So you have to get a tool, which I bought and it just came in the mail. And you can get them for like 50 bucks. I think I got a pretty nice one that was like 80 bucks or something, but, it's like a multi-tool or something like that. I'll show you it in a second here. So I'm actually planning to do that in the next few days to get this roof off. And I kind of want to drive it around with the roof off a little bit. So there's that. I did get a new shift knob right here. It feels so much better than the stock shift knob. The stock shift knob is really worn out and junky feeling to me. And this isn't even expensive. I think these are only like 60 bucks. And it just feels so good. It's weighted very well. Okay, so we also have a shift knob replacement part over here. Sorry about all this mess, but I kind of know where everything is. So there is a couple of things right here. These do not go together. This right here is a bushing, I think is what it's called, but it goes onto the shifter. And my shifter is really loosey-goosey right now. I'll actually go back. I'll show you, because some people have this is for like all BMWs from like the 80s on up. So a lot of people, if you have this problem, you might be like wondering, what is he talking about? And I'm interested. So watch this shift knob. I'm gonna put it in gear. Oh yeah, it's in first gear right now. Watch this. See how it has all that jiggle room? It can move around a lot, and it's inside the gear. It shouldn't really be able to do that, and some people wouldn't care, but I do care. I don't think it feels very good. So this is what wears out over time. This is a 10-year-old car. So I need to get inside of I actually have to go underneath the car, disconnect, I think what's called the shifter linkage. I might be using the wrong word. Disconnect that, and then I can pull the whole shifter out of the socket and then replace the old one of these and then put it back together. But getting under this car is not easy. I have a pretty basic jack. I'll show you over here. Just something like this from probably AutoZone or Harbor Freight. This can't even go under the car at all. I would need to get a low profile jack to be able to jack this car up. And I wonder if that's the same. It might be the same case for my GTR, but I do feel like this is lower than my GTR. I mean, this car is super low to the ground. I mean, that's really low. So anyway, that being said, I did buy a Quick Jacks 7,000 pound EXT. I forgot what the model. It's like 7,000 EXT is the model number, something like that. which will it will be like putting this car in a lift, so I can go underneath the car, disconnect the shifter linkage, and do this little bushing job. But there's other stuff I'm going to do while I'm down there. There are some panels, like that belly pan that was over here. And then I also bought more fun stuff. I bought European CSL headers, which are supposedly the best sounding headers you can get for this car. They're made by BMW, but they're not available in the United States. They make two different versions of the European headers for this car, and the CSL ones are the more expensive, better looking, better sounding. But it's supposedly just any even the cheaper European headers are amazing. But I did go with the CSLs because I got a really good deal on it. And then additionally, I got the European cats. And the really beautiful thing about getting either the European CSLs or non-CSL headers with the European cats is that you go from 4 catalytic converters to 2. The 2 catalytic converters that you do have a lower count. I forgot what lower count of whatever the filters are. So you actually get more airflow. And they made up together to, you kind of have to, it's better to get them together. I think you have to do some welding and cutting and things like that. But they also just fit factory. They look super factory. And you can keep all of your same sensors and things like that, which will let you a lot of people can still pass smog. Now, if the referee or whoever at the place is really good at looking under the hood, they may notice the missing cats on the headers, but all the piping looks factory. So a lot of times you can't really see those cats without putting the car up on a lift, the ones that come off the headers. They might, like when I got this car smogged, he said there were supposed to be 4, and the guy actually thought that all 4 were in the mid pipe or whatever you call it, in the back section. He thought they were stacked on top of each other because he couldn't even see the catalytic converters underneath the hood. I thought he was right too because I didn't know any better. But anyway, I'm rambling too much. So some Go Fast mods coming in. I am also gonna do some clutch work on this car. Not like actually changing the clutch because I think the clutch is fine. But I have this piece right here, which is a clutch stopper. And right now the clutch release, the engagement point on the clutch is really high. And I want to make it lower. So this is a tool that you basically use to make you simulate making the firewall closer to you so that a high release point won't feel so high. And these are only $10 on eBay. There's also a valve, some sort of clutch valve that the guys on the Z-Post forums told me I should just remove it. I'm also going to change my oil pretty soon here while I'm doing all this under the car stuff. And send some samples off to Blackstone to make sure everything's okay with my motor, since I have no idea what was going on with it. I did order a rod bearings replacement kit it was actually only $100. There's a lot of really expensive kits on the internet that are like $800, $600, and I found a deal for $100 from a good brand too. So those will be coming. So I'm going to be changing the rod bearings. For anyone that doesn't know about rod bearings and BMWs, especially with this motor, it's something you really need to change, especially this car has 108,000 miles, I think it was. And if they haven't been changed, then it's a necessity. I may end up just opening and seeing that the rod bearings were recently replaced, but I don't know who the previous owner was to ask him, hey, when did you change the rod bearings? There's a lot of stuff going on in this car, so this video is kind of long, sorry, but I polished the headlights using a headlight cleaner kit. And I am really happy about the results. These things were filthy, covered in grime, stuff that wouldn't come off with just, a towel or a wash. It was disgusting. And that's what happens with old headlights. So yeah, I used the kit. I followed the instructions. And the instructions said to use like a sanding pad. There's 2 different sides. I ended up having to sand it probably 4 different. It says to do it 1 time, then look at it. I think I had to go through 4 times per headlight because they were really gross. So if you ever use one of those, I just grabbed mine on eBay for like $10. If you ever buy like a headlight restoration kit, make sure that you do a really good job about watching. You're supposed to, the way that you know when it's ready is when you hit it with water, it will look clear. Like it'll look like this, like a brand new headlight, clear. And if it doesn't turn completely clear, if you can still see hazes or fog when there's water on it, then you know you need to keep sanding. So So yeah, the fender right here might look kind of funny, and that's because it's loose. I took a bunch of the bolts out just to see if I could get the whole fender off. I was almost just more curious, like what's the way to get the fender off the car. And I was gonna try to get to the liner there, the fender liner, but there were some bolts that were inside, but like behind the M logo there that I could not get to. I need to have the car up in the air, get the fender liner off first, and then get to those 2 bolts to get the fender off. So I think I've covered a lot of the replacement parts, things I'm gonna do, and let's talk more about the hail, because that's probably what a lot of you guys are like, well, what about the hail? What are you gonna do about all this hail damage? Oh, wife is on. All right, sorry, the video got interrupted there. My wife just got home here. She was taking the kids to school. So she's back, and there's less room in the garage, but that's fine. So what about the hail? What's going on with the hail damage? What am I gonna do? I kind of have 3 different, maybe 4 different approaches, and I'm not sure which way I'm gonna go. Why is the focus off? There we go. I'm not sure which way I'm gonna go with it, but I'm gonna start with the carbon fiber roof, and that's gonna be how I gauge what my next step is gonna be. I want a carbon fiber roof on this car no matter what, just because it looks cool. So that's my first step, and if I jack it up, I can go from there. If the carbon fiber turns out really terrible, I can try to redo the carbon fiber over again. That's not really a problem. Or I can throw in the towel and say we're gonna go paint or something different. So let's talk about the different options. And I've probably talked about some of these options before. I could just get like Bondo and fill all these, kind of just sand the whole, let's just say the hood as an example. Sand the whole hood down, Bondo all the low spots to make it all even, and then have it painted. There's a really good video I watched yesterday from Sam Crack, and he did this on a Jaguar he had. I think it was last year or earlier this year that he had this Jaguar, and he did all of the prep work for painting, and he took it to like a cheap painting place. It was only like $400 for the whole car. And so when I heard him say that, it kind of gave me a little bit of like I'm not trying to be super cheap on this car, but I'm also not trying to waste money. I want to do a lot of stuff myself. I guess that's probably better. I want to get good deals on things without cheaping out, and I want to do a lot of the work myself. I've never painted a car. I'd love to try to paint this car, but I don't think it's the right car to do a first paint job on, because it's a really nice car. But if I do all the prep work myself and I get a decent paint job, I'm not talking, I don't need to pay, the cheap $400 that Sam Crack got on his car, but I think it could still turn out really good. Even getting, $1,000 paint job. So I'm kind of considering doing that. And let's see. So there's that idea. I also had it's actually on my last it was one of my most popular videos I had when I did a walk around on this car. There's a guy that, sorry, I forgot his name, but he has a lot of experience doing PDR, paintless dent removal. So he did convince me to order a whole bunch of tools. So I have a whole bunch, I know it's messy in here. A lot of this, I got all these boxes over here with parts. Some of this stuff is like paint related stuff. So Bondo and primers and things like that, and sanding, different sanders and sanding pads and all sorts of things of that nature. And then this whole box right here is all paintless dent removal stuff. So there's glue guns, and I got some really expensive glues in this box. Oh wait, no, not that box. It's another, anyway, there's another box in here that has like special glue. The guy that I was talking to said the glue makes a big difference. You got to use the right type of glue and the right type of tabs. So there's different tools in here, like this guy is a puller. Here's a slide hammer, a bunch of different types of hammers, things like that. So I might try doing that, but it just seems so tedious. I do have all the tools. I do have time. I don't need this car to look perfect instantly. I'm not just flipping it. I'm going to drive it. So, and I'm not the type of person that's going to be, upset about driving a hail damaged car. I don't really care. I bought this car because I like how they drive, not because of how they look. And I have other nice cars too that if I'm not, it doesn't matter. I don't care how it looks. So I don't care how it looks, but I would like to fix it up and get a lot of these, some of these bigger dents. I think it'd be good to do PDR on like this panel has maybe three dents, and maybe work on those with PDR. Oh, there's, you know what, there's some on the back lid here too. So maybe PDR the hatch and the rear fenders. And if I can get the carbon fiber working really well, I might just carbon fiber the hood and then maybe try to PDR the fenders. The doors are fine, so it really just leaves the front fenders, back fenders, and rear hatch that would need PDR if I can get carbon fiber on the hood and the roof. Or I could paint the whole car and fill all the holes like I said, or I could get a wide body kit and carbon fiber the whole car. That's something that I think about sometimes, how cool it'd be to spend instead of spending all that time pulling out all these little dents, to carbon fiber the entire car and put a wide body kit on it, bigger wheels, and a supercharger. That's kind of going like a little bit more nuts, but I kind of like going nuts. So that is an idea. It is a possibility. I just don't know if I want to go that all out yet. Like it might be, I'm thinking it might be smarter to get the car into like stage 1. So it's got the intake and the exhaust, get the feeling of the car like that, and then maybe drive like that for a while before I would do like a wide body kit with the bigger wheels and the supercharger. I think I'm covering most of everything. I did pull this is the tool. I brought it from inside when my wife got home. This is the tool that I used to take off the roof. So it's a Multimax MM40 Dremel brand. And you take this guy and you shove it into the glue when you turn it on, and it just cuts through the glue, and then you drag it across through all the sealant on the roof until you cut it off. And then what the finished result will look like is kind of like this. See if I can get a good zoom in on this. Wow, the camera is not focusing. It does not want to focus. You can kind of see it right there. All that gluey, tacky stuff along the edge, that's like the cut off glue. And this is from a guy that he upgraded to a full, like a a real carbon fiber roof. Not like what I'm doing, where I'm just covering a panel with carbon fiber. Covering a panel with carbon fiber is just for looks, because you're not actually saving weight, you're just adding weight. All right, I think I'm done blabbing to you guys. I hope you enjoyed this update. I do want to do a lot more updates. I've been bad on my updates lately because my work is we're seasonal, and holiday season is the most busy time of the year. So it's just hard for me sometimes to work on the car and do videos and get my job done, run a company basically, because I own my own company. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the update. If you did, like and subscribe. You guys know the drill. I'm sure you guys watch other YouTube videos. It helps me if you do those things. I'm trying to get the channel monetized within a year, so that's a lot of time, but you know, it all helps. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a good day.